Hey guys, this is Michael with the band Ananias, and today I want to talk to you about protecting free speech in the good old US of A. You know, I don't think that most people realize, but free speech doesn't protect the words we all necessarily agree on. It protects the words that, guess what, that we don't necessarily all agree on. And let me tell you, my friends, that is a true test of a free nation. And thank the good Lord that me and you live here. I would certainly hate to live any other place but here. Well, maybe Maui or Hawaii, right? In any case, I do believe this is why that they put that first place in your Bill of Rights. Our Bill of Rights. Do you know your Bill of Rights? Because if you don't, you should download them, read them, and memorize them, and read them again, and memorize it some more, so that you have it in your noggin. At least that's what I have to do. And you know, if we lose that right, our freedom of speech, well, guess what happens to all the other ones? Well, they fall like dominoes. Remember doing that when you was a little kid? Lining those little dominoes up, you know, like a little snake, and you'd hit one and you know, that's what will happen with the rest of our freedoms. You see, in a lot of these countries, free speech is a privilege. Just like me and you having a driver's license, well, guess what? That's a privilege. And their governments decide what's acceptable. In other words, their governments decide what they can or cannot say. But here in the United States of America, it's your right. It's my right. That's right. It's our God-given right. So, to all these suckers that want to take the Almighty God, our Creator, out of the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, yeah, go ahead and do that, and you know what you're going to have? A big bag of nothing. And no ground to stand on. Zero, zilch, nothing, nada. And these governments, well, let me put you this way. Not our government, not any corporation, and not any social media platform. No one can take that right from you or from me. And I'll tell you, our founding fathers, they knew this far better than anybody probably knows it today, right? Because if somebody can control what you say, it won't be long before they can control what you'll be thinking. Uh-oh. Sheeple. Right? And that, my friends, is a very, very, very real danger. And let me just tell you, free speech, it doesn't just disappear like that. It walks out of the room very slowly. Yep, one little piece at a time. And then guess what happens? We start censoring ourselves, right? Censoring ourselves because we're afraid we're going to hurt somebody's feelings, or we do it out of fear because we're scared. You know, especially people like artists like me, I write music, right? So how can you write music if you're afraid you're going to hurt somebody's feelings? Or how about all these guys that do comedians, like up in New York or Chicago or LA? You know, I've even heard Joe Rogan talk about some of this stuff on his podcast, you know. Those guys changing their scripts because they're so afraid they got to be politically correct. You know, that's a bunch of BS, man. That's why protecting free speech is not just about policies. You know what I'm saying? It's about culture. It's about conversation, right? You know, it's the heart of the American people. It's the heart of America. Free, open debate, you know. And by the way, God bless Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk and 30 Point USA. We're with them 100%. You know, every time that you bite your tongue to fit in, every time that we stay silent, we give a little piece of our freedom away. Because we're scared of what? Backlash? You know? And that's how it is. I'm telling you. That's how it works. They don't take some big chunk all at once. It's a little piece at a time. And if we give enough of these little pieces away, well, guess what? Pretty soon, you don't have anything left to defend. And let me tell you, friends, when you lose your freedoms, there's only one way to get it back. And you know what? It ain't pretty. And it ain't good. And it requires a lot of death. Just go read some of our history. So as far as our music, that's why I write music the way that I do. Because it's patriotic. That's what this channel is all about. Patriotic rock and roll and freedom. Our freedoms. What makes patriotic rock and roll so special? I'm going to tell you. It's about America. It's about us. It's about freedom. It's about sacrifice. It's about courage. It's about truth. It's about standing tall. You know, it's about the American way. It's about the American dream. You know, that's why everybody in this world wants to come here to enjoy our freedoms. Patriotic rock and roll is about God, country, and family. It's about the very things that made this country what it is today. It's about our wonderful, rich heritage. It's about the great morals that made this country solid. It makes people want to come here. You know, freedom of speech isn't some kind of banner. Freedom of speech is more like a war cry, right? You know? So if anything for this video, I want you to remember, is that freedom of speech doesn't necessarily, I mean, it not only does it cover the easy words, but it also covers the hard words. It also covers the uncomfortable truths, you know, the uncomfortable conversations, you know, the words that make tyrants nervous. I say tyrants today, it's elites. They don't want you to have free speech, right? They can chisel that. Then what else are they going to start trying to chisel in that, huh? What you can and cannot do? That's exactly right. Sheeple. Ha, just what they want, man. These guys are filthy, stinking rich. Look at some of these companies. I mean, I'm not going to say his name, but he gave what, the year before last, $300 million? $300 million to charity. There's a bunch of them like that. In any case, listen, this channel is about patriotic rock and roll. It's about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, our veterans. It's everything that this country is about. All the good, all the wonderful things, you know. So, if you have not subscribed to this channel, would you please do it? And you need to take the time to go listen to some of the music that I have written. Now, don't just listen to the sound, but listen to the lyrics of what I'm singing about. And I think, well, I know you're going to love it. So, you know, when you join this channel, you're not just joining any YouTube channel. Well, you are joining a YouTube channel, but let me tell you, man, you are joining a movement that refuses to be silent, right? We got to stand together. You know, I believe, well, let me ask you, let me put it this way. Do you believe that our voices still matter? Do you believe that our voices need to be heard? Well, you know what? So do we. So why don't you support me? Support us, Ananias. Because we bring it. So hit subscribe. And for you out there that don't know who we are, take the time to watch some of our videos, because I spend a lot of time on the streets talking, singing, bringing patriotic rock and roll, and talking to people about our wonderful country and our freedoms. And hopefully one day you can catch one of our shows. In any case, hit subscribe, keep rocking, and until next time, cheers! All right, peace out, man.